Hey everybody, I'm Tim Hockett. Today we're going to spend a bit of time closing out our comments on fairness. In this segment, we deal with one of the most hated subjects on earth, taxes. Someone once said there's only two immutable things or unchanging things, death and taxes. It was meant to be funny, but somehow it isn't, is it? In virtually all of human history, as communities formed, ways were sought to pull together for the common good. My best illustration is from a scene of a town in the Old West. You know, the barber shop, the saloon, the hotel, the post office, the jail. They were all attached to one another by common walls. For example, the west wall or the left wall of the general store is the right wall of the hotel. One day, the potbelly stove in a general store kicks out a spark and a fire engulfs the store, and it easily spreads to the adjacent buildings. And the next thing you know, the town is all burned up. The folks get together and they do two things. They help each other rebuild. That's when the community is at its best. And then they determine to develop a town council or something similar to a jointly funded, fire wagon, maybe even a fire department. But we could talk about the cowboys who rode into town and they shot up everything, and it resulted in the town pooling their resources to hire a sheriff as well. You see where this is going. Soon people got tired of muddy streets, so they pooled their resources and they lay down bricks or cobblestone. They want a park, or they want a church, or they want running water, or they want a telegraph, or maybe even a wall built around the whole town. Over time, various systems were developed to share the cost of community stuff. And that's when the fight started. What's fair? I don't want to bore you, but I do want you to understand the two principal ways that people are taxed: regressive taxation and progressive taxation. Regressive taxation has come to describe a system that taxes are the same amount for everyone. So let's say everyone pays $10 a year. It seems eminently fair. But of course, if someone's poor, that $10 hurts more than to the person that's rich. So the percentage of the person who earns, say, $100 a week is way higher than the percentage of the person who makes $1,000 a week. This is also called a flat tax. Who do you think loved this idea? Well, yes, rich people. Rich people are more happy to pay the same amount of tax as poor people. A good example of a regressive tax is a sales tax. If you buy an item, let's say you go and you buy a lawnmower, and you see the price tag, $269, and the sales tax is 6%. Both rich and poor buy the lawnmower, they pay the same amount of tax. Same thing for gasoline taxes, various services, etc. A progressive tax, the other kind of tax, takes into account the economic variables of an individual situation. Thus, the tax becomes a percentage of something like income or wealth or the value of property. But the structure of the progressive tax table actually takes a larger percentage from those with more income. America's current federal tax brackets begin with 10% for married folks making up to $11,000, and then rises to a maximum of 37% on money earned in excess of $346,786. A quick calculation of straightforward federal income tax tells me that if your adjusted household income is about $95,000, you're going to pay about 17%. So what's fair? The flat regressive tax or the progressive tax? In my own thinking, I've come to the conclusion that progressive taxes are better. Why? It's the argument of fairness based on proportionality. Remember the tall Marine and the medium-sized Marine and the short Marine all trying to get over that wall. They help each other, recognize that people are not alike. Since a loaf of bread or a gallon of gas costs the same for rich and poor, higher income provides for more and more and more discretion. Poor people don't have a lot of discretion. They have to buy food, they have to buy shelter, they have to take care of their basic needs, healthcare, clothing. So taxes, in my view, should increase as income goes up. One last comment. In the early 50s, the highest tax rate was over 90% for the ultra rich. It was adjusted down to a top rate of 70% in 1965 and down to about 50% about 1982, and then falling below 40% after and staying there since 1987. Consequently, prior to 1950, there were virtually no billionaires. The exception was John D. Rockefeller, whose wealth during his life was about 2% of America's entire wealth. Now there are nearly 1,000 billionaires in the US alone. They can argue that wealth comes to those who work hard. But for some reason, I can't swallow that a billionaire just worked 10,000 times harder than the household that makes 100,000 annually. I know economics are complex, but fairness should drive not only our personal interaction with one another, but our tax code. It should be lighter for poor folks and much heavier for the super rich. Think about it. Thanks for watching. I'm Tim Hockett.